Watching NewsX at 5 p.m. with me, and I'm Akshay Tandon. The latest developments coming in from the controversial film Indu Sarkar. Priya Paul, who claims to be the biological daughter of Sanjay Gandhi, has approached the Supreme Court. Priya Paul has sought Supreme Court's direction to stay the release of the film Indu Sarkar for allegedly maligning the image of the Gandhi family and former Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in the film. Meanwhile, director of the movie, Madhur Bhandarkar, has welcomed the High Court's order with open arms and stated that Paul has just tried to gain publicity through his film. On one hand, the city unit of Congress created ruckus at Bhandarkar's promotional events in the city, while on the other, Bombay High Court cleared the decks for the release of Indu Sarkar on 28th of July by dismissing pleas seeking prohibitory orders.
This is the kind of thing that goes on. There's no invasion of privacy. Incidentally, the most important thing in the past on censorship has been the question of privacy. Where is the invasion of privacy here? They have not shown Mrs. Gandhi in a bikini suit or something like that. Therefore, these are all unfounded fear that the mindset of the younger generation, which didn't experience the emergency, might see what horror we had been through, and the Congress was responsible for it.
In fact, now let's go across live to Priya Paul, who is joining us on the broadcast, who claims that she is the daughter of Sanjay Gandhi. Priya, thanks for speaking with us here on NewsX. Let me first begin by asking you on the objections that you have on the film Indu Sarkar. What prompted you to approach the Apex Court? What precisely is your objection with the contents in the film?
We applied to the Supreme Court this morning, and we've got a date for the hearing tomorrow. While some newspapers are saying that the Supreme Court hasn't given us a date, the truth is that we've got a date for tomorrow. Now, the thing is that I believe in the freedom of expression. I believe that people have a right to push the envelope for any kind of revolutionary or Renaissance movement that they think is good for a country.
Right.
But you can't tell lies in the name of freedom of expression. You have a sense of responsibility for the country. You've got lies in the name of freedom of expression. You have a sense of responsibility for the country. You've got to have a sense of responsibility for the new generation. You can't tell them lies and say that is historical fact. Because where are these lies recorded? Where have they been filed? If there have been any such atrocities committed by the emergency at that time, are there any criminal cases filed? Is there a Shah Commission which mentions this? Is there some kind of notings anywhere in any files which prove this? You say that it is 70% fiction and 30% fact. Which part is fact and which part is fiction? You are actually obviously trying to subliminally, tell the people of India, and especially the youth who didn't know what happened at that time, that Mr. Sanjay Gandhi and Indira Gandhi were some kind of terrible leaders, and you should not listen to them or never go for a specific ideology that they invoked because they committed such atrocities. But these atrocities are not filed anywhere. You immediately after the emergency, you had the opposition. During the opposition, everybody, from every nook and corner of the country, there was a revolution. There was a voice that stood up against the emergency. But such things were never noted. So where have they come from?
Okay.
Is it a deliberate figment of imagination created for a specific reason?
But Priya, you haven't even seen the film. While of course you've seen the trailer and you're raising your questions based on the trailer. But let me also ask you, doesn't this film also bring to fore the contentious issue of your patronage, your relationship with Sanjay Gandhi?
You see, I was told that Mr. Sanjay Gandhi was my father in 2010 by Dr. Vimla Gujral, who was the sister-in-law of Mr. I.K. Gujral. I had been after her since 1990 to ask her who's my mother, who's my father, because she's the one who got me adopted. She arranged the adoption. And she was unwilling to tell me. But when I came to work in Delhi, and I was being interviewed by a lot of newspapers and televisions at that time regarding certain controversies that were going on in the government, she called me home and said, you must go back to Bombay because Delhi is not safe for you. And I kept on asking her why. And she wouldn't answer. And then I got a little upset and I said, you must tell me because I'm not going to go back unless I get some kind of answer which satisfies me. So she said, look, come home and I'll tell you something. And she did. She told me that, you're adopted and I want to tell you who your father is. And she told me that my father was Sanjay Gandhi. And I was very upset. It took me many years to even accept the fact that I didn't have a living father. I didn't have someone who I could go to and build a bond with. And in 2015, after so many years, I decided to investigate my case. I spoke to certain journalists and said, do you know anything about that time? And they said, yes, they'd heard about something like this, but they didn't have many facts, and I should just hunt around for some papers.
Okay.
So I went to various orphanages. I went to Kara and Sara, which are agencies of the government of India and the Delhi government, to find out whether there was any case of any child being adopted between 1969 and 70, which is when I thought the adoption papers would be found.
Okay.
And I found my adoption papers in 74 because a certain journalist who was very active at that time, who's very old now, said that there was talk about a child being born around 74 to Sanjay.
Okay.
So when I found my papers in 2015 and 16, I then went to the police to file an FIR saying, listen, I've got adoption papers that have been stamped by the government and by the court, which are, not saying the same thing, and they're not at the same time. They're giving me a different background. However, my name and the person that I'm given to is the same.
Okay.
I'm a Hindu child, and my date of birth is 12th of December and everything, but they're giving different background stories and things like that, and I'd like to know what the truth is, because I couldn't be having, no human being can have, different official records of adoption. And nobody bothered about the FIR. I waited for quite some time, and then I went to court, and I filed a criminal case which says that this is obviously some kind of fraudery was afoot, and I'd like to find out.
Okay.
They asked the IO to give a statement, the police, and that didn't happen. Then they changed the IO, they got another IO, and he has just, after so many months, given some kind of statement, but has left it absolutely neutral, saying yes, there's an adoption from here and from there, and a certain person has given an affidavit. A friend of Sanjay Gandhi's gave an affidavit saying that yes, he knew that Sanjay had a girl child and she was given up for adoption.
And there's some sort of cover-up.
He'd like to come forward and support me.
Okay.
And the FIR hasn't been filed as yet, and I now need to file the FIR or push for the fact as to why for so many months, must be more than 9-10 months, why has my FIR not been filed?
Okay, so you're alleging some sort of cover-up where this entire case, and of course for you to find the truth is concerned. But Priya, explain to us, despite the fact that you have so many objections, and you've raised plenty of them in the last 3-4 minutes of our conversation, the filmmakers have gone ahead with the film. They will release it. They've got to go ahead from the Bombay court, like we know. Now the promotions are on, and they say that film is a work of fiction. So how do you respond to that, Priya?
I've been hearing that all this time.
Yeah.
They have said this is a work of fiction. In fact, the Bombay High Court showed me a disclaimer that they've been forced to put that this fiction is entire work of fiction.
Yes.
But today, the press, you just see the press, see the New Indian Express and certain other newspapers where the director is openly stating that I'm happy to present a film which is going to tell the truth to the youth of India as to what happened in the emergency. So don't you think that these are two statements that contradict each other, and there is a conflict in the truth and the intentions and the motivations of everything that is happening? I think that everybody can see that it's out in the open. He has completely characterized the hero and the mother of the hero in the film after Indira Gandhi and Sanjay Gandhi. In fact, the photographs, the well-known photograph in Google shows them in a specific pose, wearing certain clothing with a certain expression. The campaign poster for this film has the same photograph. And it's open. I mean, everything is open, and yet we are denying the truth. That is amazing for me. That in our country we play around with the truth as if it's a can of worms.
Okay, you're saying that we're playing around with the truth. Now, Priya, we understand that the Congress party too, has been targeting the Bharatiya Janata Party over Indu Sarkar, has been targeting the filmmaker as well, accusing them of deliberately trying to tarnish the image of the party, of the leaders, the former Prime Minister, the Gandhi family. You too have been voicing your objections repeatedly about it. In any way, will you be joining hands with the Congress party on this front?
See, this is not a political fight for me. I believe that Sanjay Gandhi was a Hindu Rashtravadi, and so am I. We are nationalists and we believe in Hindu Dharma. So I do not know why any other political party would want to attack the one single icon that was very vociferous about being the part of Hindi Sabhyata, Indian culture, who pushed certain agendas that would support the country at no cost and with appeasement and fear towards none.
Okay.
No, this is not a political fight. I am not approaching any political party.
Okay.
I am appealing directly, and I want to go through the process of law. I have understood one thing, that
Interesting.
in the order that was given by the Mumbai High Court, it did not make sense to me when they asked me, why have members of your family not come forward, and therefore why should we accept your claim if they haven't come forward?
Okay,
That
because the
not
thing is that
justice.
this has been a political fight all along. I mean, I specifically asked you about the Congress primarily because this is a political fight between the Congress and the BJP where the legacy of the Gandhi family is concerned. But the other side of the Gandhi family, Priya, you know, Maneka Gandhi, Varun Gandhi, who are members of the BJP now, MPs as well, are yet to raise their voice against the contents of this film. Do you believe, is there then a disconnect in the way you are looking at the narrative and the way they are viewing the film and what it projects, the film Indu Sarkar?
See, everybody has a choice to do what they want to do according to their conscience. I was
Okay.
brought up by a Rajput Sikh family with a Jewish mother, and I was brought up to believe that you need to honor your parents. And I
Okay.
always loved my biological parents and my adopted parents. I'd fight for both of them. I fought for both sides at all times. I've been brought up with that kind of thing, that never give up, never give up, never sell out, never withdraw,
Okay.
never retreat. So this is my philosophy, that's been my upbringing. Everybody has a choice to do what they
Sure.
want to do, whichever party they belong to, whichever family they come from, whether they are the children, the wife, the husband. Some people stand up for what they believe in. Some people choose to not do so for a certain reason that they have, and it's their private,
All right.
their private matter.
All right,
you know.
Priya, appreciate you joining us, taking our time and speaking with us. And of course, you say that you will continue to fight with the release of this film.